Welcome to Members Night Recap. I am Codename Mischief. I'm joined by Codename Sergeant Tucker and Codename Bagel.
See, it's good that you took away the give them the option to say their names, because we all just sit there awkwardly for a second.
Y'all are too polite.
Yeah.
You just sit there. We are going to review a game. Let's go. But first, an intro.
So I have to say I did like this. When I saw it, I was like, ooh, this is like, a quick highlights.
Yeah, and then I put laser tag, and I might try to put like a symbol of a phaser here or something. It's a work in progress. Every week's just going to get better.
Laserforce Site or something, or not Site, the Laserforce logo.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Who knows? Work in progress.
Anyways, this week we had a full 6v6 matchup. Without giving away what's going to happen in this game, if you were to see this team for the first time, what would you think?
That's a team.
Thank you, Bagel.
Mid-game control, like a lot of zone controlling and aggression.
Okay.
You got some new blood in the three
You got
hits,
some-
kind of undiscovered. Got some.
You got an old reliable on the ammo.
You got a mix of people who have played a lot of games and people who have played not a lot of games. I think it's pretty balanced. You have the people who've played a lot of games in active supporting roles, So like, I think it's pretty well balanced, and it definitely has vulnerabilities, but it has strengths too,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I agree. The two scouts and the ammo are kind of the most experienced players. So I can see how this team might not have the strongest push, but it would be really hard to break as well.
Bendy.
Yeah, it's bendy. I have a lot of confidence in the back line. I think I'm gonna disclose this, that when either Joe or myself told Azra that she was playing heavy against Loki, she was like, I'm not good enough to match up against Loki. And we were like,
We'll see.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. And that's kind of what this game was. I think this one was kind of a test for her to see how she would handle that situation. And the other one really being tested in this game is Tingus Pingus, who I think I just met for the first time on Wednesday. I know he works there, but cool guy, great smile, and we wanted to put him in a commander role and see what he was made of.
It is honestly really good to see, because I kind of spoiler, there's an employee on the other team too, so it's nice to see the employees starting to kind of get a little more invested again. Because
Absolutely.
I know that's going to be one of the bigger ways that we get people, because John has been probably one of our most active recruitment sources, because he's always there. So
Absolutely. Yeah, all are welcome in the core.
and young blood is always good.
Absolutely.
So
Old blood too.
yeah,
All blood.
Young old blood.
young blood just has a better chance of recruiting other young blood members.
And Earth team here, I would initially look at Sharka Boy, as he's kind of the opposite, on the opposite end of Tingus Pingus. He's also an employee, and he's a little more experienced, I think, but this is a test for him as well to see what he's made of on Commander. And he's wearing the GoPro today.
Yeah, pulled a switcheroo on me on the last second.
Yeah, well, he did ask me, and I just thought, well, he's
That's
playing
fair. If he
Commander.
asked, that's fair. Okay. In terms of this team, same kind of thing, except instead of Bagel being on ammo, we have Bagel on medic. So a much more fluid lineup as well, again, where they can move around as they need be, because Bagel will be like, oh, let's get out of here.
Right, I kind of would imagine there's some backline leadership coming from both Bagel and Joey on ammo. I think Joey provides a lot of leadership too, and so I just don't see this team freaking out when pressured. Especially with Loki on heavy. That's one of his strong suits. It's just he's cool under pressure.
And this is, Loki is one of our more veteran members. I think he's one of the remaining originals. And so, been with us for a long time. So this was definitely a test for Azra to see what would happen. But,
It's kind of cool that the two newest additions to the SM5 group for Loveland are playing Commander against each other.
They both wanted to, too, so...
Heck yeah.
It worked out. Joey was like, hey, they want to play Commander. And I was just like, great.
Yeah, it's really awesome. I think I told Joe, like, I at one point, I want to let some of the newer players, like, be featured on these videos as 3 hits, just to, this should be... One, like, these should be cool to watch. No matter what it is, the matchup should be a little even. But these are also great ways for players to look at some of their tendencies and get some feedback and improve on themselves. So I'm glad that Sharkaboy and Tingus Pingus have this chance.
I think we've done a pretty good job of spreading it around anyways.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we've been shoving everybody on a lot of variety. Like, M1A Abrams has played so much different stuff in all of these games.
That's right. I like the scouts in this game. I'm excited. I feel like honestly, there's a ton of aggression, but game sense as well from the scouts.
And to build off what you two were saying, I feel like I'd almost bet that there's almost no ununique positions between the 3 videos right now, because we're just trying to constantly rotate people around.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll continue to do so, I think.
I think I still stand by that's the best way to teach people.
All right, you guys ready to get into this?
I guess.
All right.
That wasn't very enthusiastic of you. Yeah, John and I.
Rest in peace, scoreboards.
I didn't say anything.
Oh, I'll out myself for that. I should have looked.
It's all good.
That will be fixed as of Tuesday.
Team's generally flooding upstairs. You heard mischief at blue base, so I pulled a Joey.
Sammy.
So this was a huge start where Sammy gets both 3 hits down.
Yeah.
And then that's far enough to not be a chase, which is even rougher because that's a medic hit right there.
It's debatable. I looked at it multiple times. If I were sitting there, I probably would have tagged her just to be safe.
As someone who was sitting there, I didn't tag her for that reason.
Fat sideways shot. Okay, here it is. Oh yes,
the getting a second medic hit.
All right, so
my best. Okay.
Ezra's really pushing for the chamber, and she pretty much has it, using trails to keep Loki out. Red has top floor right now.
Yeah.
All right. So we are 8 minutes and 50 seconds in. A little bit of a check-in as far as like game state. Without the scoreboard is kind of hard to say, but I would bet that Sammy has probably about 1,600 points already.
Yeah. She just got a missile into the commander. She's constantly been downing everybody. That was a bit of a fun one to watch.
That was so funny. Both commanders thought they got the other and didn't.
Yeah, cause new players learning, oh yeah, I've got to hit them a second time, So, this is where things, I think, get a little awkward. Green has gone downstairs, and...
Oh, yeah.
Except for one.
Getting bombed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Simply okay, staying upstairs to keep some pressure. And Mischief going downstairs to keep some pressure.
It's alright, we can dream.
Well, then you should go attack them. The benefit of having multiple angles to hear that stuff.
Yeah, it's really funny. Whatever that meme reaction where the person just puts his hands on his hips.
Yeah, it just looks at
me standing in the middle of the enemy team.
John is
puts
about
hands
to pull
on my
something
hips.
cheeky.
And Cock Johnkins just
And then he does this.
He
And I'm
just
watching from the
starts-
other side, and I'm like, ooh. And he runs over and he goes, "Are you so
Oh
many
my
shots
God.
there, bro?"
That was like
Oh.
10 shots he wasted.
They're pushing up in the chamber.
That was nice.
But yeah,
But it was
that was
a
a
good
full
push.
volley that got them. And then as soon as he comes out, Abrams comes up, which helps keep that pressure up, you know.
You don't see Tingus Pingus too much in this video, but you just saw him on the second floor right there. I think he's trying to look down at the enemy team and have some zone control in the middle.
That was fun. Hold on,
That was-
pause and go back for a second, because
Yeah,
that
that was-
one. So the reason they were doing this, as someone who was right there, both of them squatted at the same time, and they started playing a mind game with one another, which is why they did that. And it was so fascinating to watch them both do it, because that was why initially Azra squats, is because she sees Abrams squat. And then Abrams stands back up as Azra moves to the side. Abrams squats as she then squats again.
The squat
so-
is because of the window.
It is also because of that, yes. But it was fun watching. I enjoyed the kind of mind game they played with one another. I think that makes it a lot more fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that shows that both her and Abrams are starting to have those moments of thinking outside the box.
Mm-hmm.
Not just doing linear attacks.
Definitely.
Go downstairs.
We'll go back and review
This
the
is-
video in slow-mo anyway.
This is one moment of improvement for sure, where her team has third. She's telling everyone to go downstairs, but not getting resupplied.
What is
or
She's sitting
holding
upstairs.
second.
She's
Yeah.
He's looking at
Okay. Tingus Pingus coming down. Commander and Scout, green team going upstairs. So they are on the attack now.
Yeah, and for some reason she backed off there. This is a good shot.
Brown Lane
Yeah.
Jidoku, professional resupplies.
Yeah.
Azra using trails well again. That is making my heart so happy. So
She's gotten really good
conceding
at that,
chamber.
She's good at those trades and understanding to make trails and get the kind of aggressive stuff going. She's not afraid to attack, which is something I've found a lot of newer players will struggle with. Is they get scared, right? They're like, oh no, I don't want to lose a bunch of lives. Whereas she's like, I've got to make sure that I get them.
So Loki's sitting on the switchback. He's going to attack from red while his Scout and Commander are sitting in chamber. So they got red kind of holed up in Fortress right now.
Yeah.
a
So the
wild
nuke activated,
Weird.
and this.
No.
That was unfortunate.
Guns
that was
up.
very unfortunate. I don't know if you heard though, you could partially blame that on Simply Okay, who told him to go down to the closet and launch the nuke.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the heavy was up in the fortress, so it might not have been any better if he did it up there.
It happens. You have
Yeah.
no way of knowing where the people are, you know?
Yeah.
And like, if nuke cancels happen, usually people have already started like resupplying and stuff like that, you know,
Yeah.
to try to like. There's still impact, right? Because people are
good
moving
trades
around.
from Sharkaboy.
Yep. Got
But
a
yeah,
couple
you're
good
right.
tags in there.
I think he got both of them down, and he was like, "Oh shit, I'm in the middle of the enemy team." And then he like ran out, but he might have been able to try to missile Azra right there.
Yeah, and that's kind of the not knowing resets as well as experienced players. Following in Coggins here, it doesn't go perfectly for them, but. And so, as you heard there, Troy calling out Sammy being down, and then John winning this trade.
Yeah.
This is another
This is
funny one where one in Azra downs his commander, one in Azra, and he points and goes, "Uh-oh." And they both back off.
This is a huge brawl right here. You got both heavies, green commander, green scout versus heavy and both resupplies.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you got the second scout there as well. James pushing out the red team. And then
one
Mischief comes in
Abrams.
like, wait, where'd everyone go?
Left. Off.
I'm like,
yeah.
oh, that is not the place to be.
Nope. Yep. You and James have a bit of a
I'm
mix-up here. Yeah. Letting each other by. That shot's a little sus as I was looking at it. I think that'd be fine because the chest is out far enough, but like that tilt of the gun made me just kind of go, ooh.
So now
tilt
green is
scary.
taking top for
The tilt
sure.
scares me. Yeah, so green's resupplies are coming upstairs now. They both just got hit twice because Tingus Pingus was sitting there as they came up.
Yeah.
And something unfortunate is going to occur.
All right, we got some nukes going off, some
So-
trails being made.
Yeah. Trails being made all the way over to Fortress. Doesn't seem like anyone's coming up red.
Dr. Feelgood trying
Ezra
to
with
maybe
the
capitalize
bombs.
on the nuke a bit.
The scouts are finally out of juice.
Finally.
As another scout retreats.
Yep.
They're all
Down-
trying
Dr.
to get
Feelgood
stuff.
going downstairs. So Red's kind of resupplying downstairs now. I think everyone's just kind of filling up. This is
Yeah.
a lull in the game.
And green's also pretty much all moved back to resupply. The only one not back there right now is Sharka.
The calm before the storm.
Because there's only 2 minutes left, so it's possible that people resupplying right now might not need to be doing that if you only got 2 minutes left.
The
Yeah.
ballroom base brawl is butthole when you don't have stuff to defend yourself.
Hawkins pushes out the enemy team downstairs. That is good play on his part.
Very.
And just good use of his position to be down there.
Both red scouts there. Or
Yeah,
red scout
this
and
was-
red commander here. So
This was great.
Sharka getting a couple hits in.
Bromley gets
Bromley
Traumatized
finally
pushes
shows
out.
Calkins
Simply.
out. The scouts
Mischief and Dr. Feelgood are alternating right here.
Yeah.
So I had to explain this to him. He that is actually illegal for you to stand in front of me when I'm crouched like that, right? So like I tried to explain to him that we ended up just having to
Sweet.
leave.
Yeah.
We
And
push
so
him out.
you guys kind of
and
got all
Calkins
flushed
gets us
together,
down.
and all of a sudden John came up and bailed out. 60 seconds now, which is kind of the basis, as Mischief calls out. Sharka still trying to fight with both 3 hits.
There he is.
Yeah.
We spotted him. Red Commander. Right
There he
there,
is.
baby. Yeah.
The unsung hero. This is funny.
Do it.
I wait for the moment that Sharka Boy turns his head and I get 2 into him. But
Saucy.
he might have
Yeah.
been faking me because he turned right back around.
I think he was ready to hear it, to hear the hit. And so as soon as he heard the hit, he turned.
15 seconds.
Yeah, so...
It's hard to. Okay, so before we cut to the scoreboard, from the way
Don't
that the game is going, I think it is very easy to say that red team probably won, right?
Yep.
Like they
I'd
were.
say it's close, though. But, yeah.
Like it
red
looked
definitely
closer without the scoreboard. Because both
It-
teams were pushing each other up and down the stairs.
To me,
Up and
it
down the
looked
ramp.
like Azra just bodied the entire enemy team, and it looked like in the beginning of the game, Azra just smashed everybody. And then it was like a lot of Simply Okay, just trying to like
hold the line.
hold the line is a very good word for a
Just being everywhere at once.
yeah. He was the gap filler, right? Like everywhere that specifically Loki couldn't really be. I felt like he was doing a really good job of being where he needed to, and considering how harsh it looked like Green Team was getting thrashed, I think it's pretty impressive that nobody died.
Yeah, that's honestly that's kind of a testament to how the game was playing out. Is that both teams were doing good. I'd say both medics are probably really low on lives. Green more so than red, since green didn't get a nuke off and red got the double.
That's
But-
only a 1,000 point difference, though.
Well, in terms of like medic lives, that's what I mean.
Ugh.
So, this was rough.
With
so
the
she gets, I
reset.
think,
So-
5 hits here, and
Yeah.
then comes around, gets Josiah, and then gets Sharka. And then,
Yeah,
unfortunately, Bagel is kind of in a bad spot because Mischief is behind and Azra is in front, and there's really not a good way to go.
The thought process here is...
Go to cheese.
Well, the thought process here is Troy went to closet, and if the medic is in the chamber, they have two different choices as to who to look at. And if I can give them any incentive to turn their back to Troy, right, to turn their back to Loki, the heavy, that is like optimal play to take back third. And I am happy to sacrifice 1 or 2 lives if it means that they get shot down and we get to reset up, was kind of my thought process. Not what happened.
So go back for a second. Let's actually see. Maybe
eventually we gotta look at the scoreboard, but sure.
Yeah, go back just a little more. So what?
Okay,
No, you're
so
good, you're good there,
Sharka's over
right there.
here down.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. So hit. He realizes he's got to get the hell out of here.
She's at the back of the wall here.
Yeah, that wouldn't be 10 feet.
Think so?
Yeah, because we measured it, and for it to be from that spot to 10 feet has to be the edge of the chamber. So she's okay.
All right,
it's close,
right.
but she's okay there. So this is something that I've jokingly talked with about her, is that when all targets in her line of sight have been downed, the gun goes down. And that's something I'm like, you just gotta at least keep it up. You know.
Take note that Luke is not resetting me because I'm in chamber, by the way.
Yep, so that's what I mean by, like, you kind of had a not great decision, was to either face off with Azra or face off with Mischief, who is now downed your entire team and has reset chains in there. So...
Hey, before we go over this whole game, we haven't even looked at the scoreboard.
In my opinion. Yeah. So you can skip to the end so we can look at the scoreboard.
Well, I got the thing here.
Oh, you got the thing. The thing.
Yes, the stats.
Yeah.
Welcome to
Let's
stats.
look at this, and then we'll comb back through that in slow-mo and just
LF
chit-chat.
stats featured by our wonderful Russell.
Thank you, Russell. You make the game better.
I can't read any of those. I gotta pull up my glasses.
Yeah, pull up the glasses.
Give myself some optical zoom.
Mischief with the top MVP. Trailed hotly by Azra.
Azra was on
Trailed
her
by
ass.
Bagel.
Trailed by Bagel. Next up
And
being Simply Okay. And then the
Dr.
Scout and
Feelgood.
the Ammo, yeah.
Is that a 19.58 on medic? That's pretty saucy.
I think, yeah, because you had 2 boosts and you lived with 2 lives and, 95% accuracy.
Just very solid play. You survived with 1 life. It was great. John Calkins getting the 5 medic hits.
Yeah.
1.45 hit diff. Like, in the situation, okay, the accuracy could have been worked on a little bit.
Well,
that's the
panic, yeah.
But besides that, like, we got to give a lot of credit to Simply Okay here.
Yeah, and I mean, in terms of point difference, since we don't have the scoreboard, there's only 2 bases missing from green. So it's 27 with bases to 33. So it's a 5,000 point game. But honestly, that's kind of how it felt. Just like being in the arena filming it. I was never really sure who was going to win because the brawl never stopped. And so I was waiting for a call out of dead. And I was pretty convinced it was going to be green dying out first, since especially off that nuke cancel. And looking at it, Jodoku's at 10 and Bagel's at 1 because that initial volley probably took like 3, and Jodoku didn't get hit for a while. So.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say even in a 15, like we've seen people come back from the 5,000 deficits before, but
Sammy had 6 medic hits. No wonder her MVP is so high. 6 medic hits, goodness.
Bagel's fantastic, but I don't know if you could have survived. Outside Judoku's 1 life.
That was just one of them prelim games.
Also, the last second Duke cancel helps as well.
Yeah, 2 different nuke cancels from one from Azra, one from Dr. Feelgood.
Dr. Feelgood. Yeah.
Granted, it was never going to land, but
2.11 hit diff. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
He was a silent killer.
Yeah, he was just moving around. It really felt like John was trying to be the beacon for his team, whereas you guys were all just working together independently, if that makes sense. where like you guys were communicating and I could hear it, but it was much quieter. It was much more you're talking to one another rather than to the entire team.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think the win condition was just Azra was taking the territory we needed, and Dr. Feelgood and I were kind of like pincering from other angles while she was being the main focus of attention, which gave us opportunities to just get tons of hits in without being focused on.
yeah, is Sammy the only one to use a missile?
My gosh. let's go. And then I think if Sharkabo is watching, like, it should be noted that a base was missing, so your score would have been high enough to get you up into the third place spot, and the nuke cancels make it look a little worse than it was. So doing that last nuke for fun.
Green side is also worse.
Yeah,
Green side is worse.
Green side is notably worse. So
I think he had some really good moments, and I don't want him to feel bad about this particular game.
no, that was a tough game.
There was a lot going on.
Yeah, that was a tough game. You have scouts who know how to stay away from one another and not get farmed and reset to death. You have a heavy who has more experience than Charka does. You have a commander on the other side about the same skill level, and so it kind of makes it a bit of an uphill fight initially for both commanders, because they're fighting against more experienced scouts on both teams and more experienced heavies. So they will understand how to move away from one another and not get, just totally wrecked.
I don't know where Azra is getting all of her improvement advice from, but like
straight up.
whatever if she is reading The Art of War, if she's secretly a grandmaster, like a WGM chess player, there's a lot of different things going on here, but I am convinced that she's outsourcing material or something. She is bananas for how many games of SM5 she's played.
And I think it also helps that when I got to talk to her for the first time, according to her, if I recall correctly, she'd been coming for about 3 years. And she would just come on the weekends and play for like hours on the weekends.
Well, so
hours and hours. And so I think that's somewhat beginning to translate the understanding, and she knows the arena, which is helping her out initially.
Well, that kind of is going to translate into the only habit that she needs to break. She has a really filthy pub habit. Where when she's going around corners and she's trying to like win the trade, she'll put her phaser up high to her cheek, and it comes around right before the shoulders. And
Rifleman stance they were calling it, or whatever.
And everybody does this, okay? Oh. Everybody has either the chin shot, the nose shot, the cheek shot. There's all sorts of goofy shots that everybody goes through. And the cheek shot is a classic, and it's okay. A tournament where there are refs shooting you for doing things is the only real way for you to really understand what you're doing wrong, in my opinion.
Will break you of that habit for sure.
Because like no matter how many times we talk about anything, it's not going to mean anything until like there's actually consequences for the actions. So like, letting stuff like that go, especially in a members night game, I think is just like kind of crucial to foster a learning environment.
Yeah, this was so rough.
This was dirty.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like completely clean, but she just that was the end of that fight.
This is the main red side advantage, though. So if you look at the way that blue ramp is structured, it is physically longer.
I like the double hair flip.
The blue ramp has 2 switchbacks, which makes it so that the travel time from the bottom of red, no matter how fast you are, the travel time from bottom of red is shorter than to the top of from the bottom of green to the top. So Sammy in the first 15 seconds of the game was able to not only reach the top of her side, but also create an attacking move by the time she came up from her first double.
Yeah, that's what you can do from red side.
Fast players they can meet you by the time you get to the top of your side, they're halfway across third already.
That's kind of the only real like meta cheese that we've really like harshly developed. You know, sometimes like the commander will kind of meander over to the bottom of blue, you know, but like there's not really a lot of diversity in the opening phases of the game to be able to like there has to be 3 hits present, right? In a competitive game, there has to be scouts present. There has to be resupplies within reach, right? There's certain contingencies that kind of just need to be met in order for the game to really function. And in the beginning of the game, the heavy's biggest freedom on red side is being able to just run over to green side before they can make it up. Because it's stupid.
And another thing, I almost feel like the way that Azur's improving is by watching. Because if you go back and watch how she did that defense, you can see for about half a second, you can see the top of her head as Sharka Boy is walking up. And you can see it suddenly vanish, and she goes into that back corner to give herself more angle to fire at, right? Because she's expecting him to come around the corner, right? So she'll see if his gun is, you know, leading on his chest, she's going to be able to hit the gun before he can ever see her, right?
Notably beneath the window where she won't get cheese shot.
Exactly. And so I think a lot of her improvement is coming from watching and like in playing. She is probably the best example we've got right now of playing games helps you. You know.
Look at that. Playing games helps you.
And the both of them did it too, so they're
they mutual and it's hilarious.
Yeah, new player sins, not knowing how much damage you do and who's what. It happens. It's something they'll get the hang of. Yeah, they'll get the hang of it. It'll be fine.
And there's also like the rosters that they're playing against are no joke, you know. So like they have a lot of work cut out for them in this maze. So
absolutely,
they played good, and 3,300 points and 5,700 points, I think it was. It's fine.
524, but
524. That's pretty.
That's still good. That's still good. Like,
I think that's super reasonable, and they showed that they have willingness to play out hard situations, you know?
Yeah. And not only that, one thing that was encouraging watching through this video is there's several times you see Sharka look down at his phaser to check where his resupplies are at, which is something that a lot of newer players sometimes struggle with, is the, you know, I'm not going to check and then all of a sudden, I'm in a bad spot. Whereas he's already, at this point in the video, looked 3 different times just to check his phaser and see what his stats are at.
I think that's reasonable.
Cute little stare off here.
No, that's what I mean. It's. I think that's a good thing for a new player, is he's checking in with where he's at in terms of stats, his new things like that. You know.
I think if he does it any more than like once every like
minute or so.
Yeah, it's a little greedy to.
This was a little silly.
A little silly. But it's a little silly that no one was, like, ready for John to come in either.
Yeah. Again, another thing, Azur's looking away as she's getting resupped.
Little things.
Little things. Little improvements that are going to be big things. They will amount to big things.
Boink.
Poor Mischief's trying to get through 2-3 hits.
Oh, I'm okay with that situation.
It's just kind of hard.
Yeah.
Preventing them from getting resupplied. Something I like about Sharka is that and you can see it in this video, and he did it in the game after this where he was playing heavy. He is willing to like play alongside other players and coordinate with them. So you'll see him like moving into attack with John a number of times this game.
Yeah.
And like he'll see where John's pointing, and he'll point his phaser at the same spot and become like a combined unit, which I think is becoming a bit of a new meta for us. Like more people are doing like double rushes where you'll both run at the same area. One goes high, one goes low.
We're getting back into the habit of pincer attacking simultaneously. We're not like we're getting back into the habit of creating pressure that makes it so multiple people have to look in different directions, right? Mm-hmm. Which is hard for new people to get the hang of until they basically get thrown into it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm playing medic and getting killed by Azra.
I think this is the second time we've got a recorded game of that.
Of me playing medic and getting killed by Azra? Probably.
Thanks.
No, the other one we didn't get recorded because it was one of the nights I was sick. And you went, I don't know what happened. I just know I was getting shot by Azra a lot, and I checked the stats and I was like, "You're right."
Oh yeah.
So that was a hold on. That was a note for Tingus Pingus right there. That would have been a great opportunity to try to put a missile into Simply.
Yeah, or
instead
of
running away. Because
Yeah.
once you tag Simply and then you tag the enemy commander, you have a free license to kill on the person you just tagged. But new things. Can we give Judoku a little love? He had a 97% accuracy.
Well, and not only
he's
that,
kind of a quiet, stable force on this team in this game.
yeah. So he was doing wonderfully in this game, and this is kind of the Achilles heel of medic. Is the things you do that are important aren't loud or flashy.
They're just not noticed.
And so that was probably my favorite thing, and I'm glad I got it on camera, which is he managed to hit Brahmatized at the exact same time, which is something that players will struggle with. And he's gotten exceedingly efficient at it, right? Not only that, he and Brahmatized are both keeping their guns up. He was the one to down Mimosaurus as Mimosaurus came in, right? He's not keeping his gun down. He's not having these like moments of terror, right? Where he's just like totally in shock of the fact that people are coming to get him, right? He's willing to protect himself within reason. He's learned. And it's, it is an incredible improvement to see from where it was at in terms of the tournament. His gun is up now. Even when he's not fighting, his gun is constantly aimed at a target for a resupply or to protect himself, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And so it is an impressive skill that even some of our older players kind of struggle with sometimes. We get a little lazy with it.
Definitely.
This was rough.
Yeah, I was so excited to see his commander game Yeah, this is rough. So, phaser up, my friend.
Phaser up.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You gotta make sure you keep your phaser up.
And
especially
I don't know
when
if he defends himself from that, but yeah.
Well, I want to give my thought just in case, like, if you're listening to Daniel and you don't know this, I just want to give some thoughts here. If you've been tagged a couple times, your shield, like if a scout tagged you twice, you now only have one shield instead of 3, so any person could get you in one hit. If I was gonna nuke, I would either make sure I go like all the way downstairs into a corner where no one's gonna find me, or I'd just go fight for a second, get turned off, and then run away to do my spot, because then I have the full shield when I come back up. And the second thing to note is that whenever you're nuking, everyone has license to follow and shoot you, because the fact that you're up means you don't have a trail. So people will seek you out, sprint after you, and try to tag you down. So make sure your gun is up and you're ready in case. Like, it's always so like nerve-wracking and shocking when somebody finds you and you gotta hit them.
Yeah, and people will haul ass to get that cancel if they know where you are. is another big thing. Like if someone knows where you are and they've got a clean straight away to get you, and they think they can, they're gonna.
The missile and the nuke are 2 calls in the arena for immediate butt kicking. Loud tones.
Yeah.
Yep. All in all, though, I'm happy with how the teams turned out, and I continue to be happy with the way that these games are going. The ones that we've got recorded, especially because the closeness of them. It feels like, you know, a couple of things definitely went wrong for Green, especially the early game, right? But the stabilization that then occurred because Green had that ability to back up. Like you said, Daniel being willing to follow Mimosaurus here and come in to get a couple of hits and then back out with John, you know? He's willing to listen to his players tell him, hey, we should try this now. Definitely need to remind him of the no windows, but
For sure.
it'll come with experience.
So this is Simply Okay and Sharkaboy working together pretty well, I would say. We'll simply just use Commander for a reset there. Loki's kind of sniping from a distance, so you got like good coverage everywhere.
Yeah, and this is where you have multiple zones, right? Azra has to pick, and so that's the window shot I meant.
Okay, do not shoot through the window.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so
Yep.
Azra has to choose, do I look at the people coming for my resupplies, or do I look at that heavy who's going to hit me the second I step out, right?
Right.
And
that's a hard spot.
And a note for Sharka there, if you come up and you see that 3-hit down, just aim at them and missile them. Because missiles take 2 lives and give you 2 more special points, right? So it is much better to get that missile off when you can, especially into someone like the heavy, right? So. And so this is where the cluster kind of begins, is everyone's not sure where everyone is, because everyone is everywhere.
You know, honestly, it's a self-admitted derp moment right there. My resupplies sprinted down the stairs past me, and I still walked up and was like, can I stand somewhere up here?
Where are they? Where is everybody?
Why do I not have resupplies?
No, I just thought maybe I could help Azra for a second, but everywhere was very taken.
Yeah.
The census reads green.
Hamez had completely taken the chamber.
He gets down in Mimosaurus, and then getting the resupplies as they come up, getting downed by Abrams. And, like, that was another good thing, is that whether that was intentional or not, being in that spot as the resupplies come up means you get a free hit off of each of them, usually. Or at least one of them, right? And so that can cause its own problem, because that slows down the resupplies even more, because now neither of them are active when they get there. They can't just start doubling right away. They have to potentially wait 5 more seconds to come up to get resupplies out.
A big shout here to Sharkaboy. He's doing the right things right now, right? Yeah. He's pushing. He's attacking the enemy team. Unfortunately, he gets shot, you know, which, I mean, it's hard when you're fighting by yourself.
Yeah, because there are 6 people downstairs and one person that's green and 5 people that are red.
Being a commander in the 1v6 scenario requires a lot of finesse and a little bit of luck. And sometimes they're just looking the way that you are, and it just sucks. Yeah. You were doing the right thing, though. You were attacking and you were beating on them.
Yeah, absolutely. This was one of those moments where I thought Troy would use James as a reset, and then now that I have Luke's footage, it's a good thing he didn't, because Slade's already over going down red. So.
Yeah, Slade booked it.
Yeah, which was, again, also the right call, because Slade realized, okay, I bought a little bit of time. I can see that there are 5 people up here. I should go get my resupplies now, right? And this is where Green kind of collectively takes the moment of, oh, we all need resupplies too.
Yeah.
I think that we were a little unconscientious of what time it was in the game, because everybody getting full right now is not the correct decision.
No.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that also comes with the pacing of like nukes and commander stuff. Is it's kind of hard because usually
People are dead by now.
Yeah, usually a commander will come back and say, I have this much towards my next nuke, or what do we want to do, or like things like that. So I think the pace of the game was a little off for everyone as well. Plus, it was so brawly that I feel like a lot of people were losing track. You have this moment where now Mischief and Tingus and Dr. Feelgood are all creeping up the red ramp to begin trying the retake, right? Or Feelgood is downstairs for one more resupply. And Brahmatai is getting a good shield off there, still losing the life, but like the attempt is good, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just good positioning, like good game sense by Simply to be actually down there attacking. At the 20 seconds ago, everyone was refilling, but he just got down there.
And this is where, again, you could have missiled Mischief there. Backed off a little as Mischief goes, uh-oh. So
I think that's Tingus Pingus running up to second.
Yeah, but you were standing side by side when he downed Tingus Pingus, so that's a missile for sure.
I think I would have ducked behind the switch back in time.
That trail to the half wall was not long enough, Ezra.
No.
That could have been super saucy.
Yeah.
But you know what? Shout out to the scouts holding down the line.
Yeah. Abrams and Simply are out there trying really hard to hold on to it. And both scouts being on switchback is kind of making this a little rough. I think Josiah has now acknowledged it's time to leave, gets his shield, sprints out.
Dr.
As
Feelgood breaks the wall.
comes back again to save the day.
Hero.
Downing both scouts.
Yeah, Simply okay. Saved the day right there.
That was probably illegal, for sure, in my opinion.
I don't think there's a huge point in debating about it. Just like little things to watch out for and things to adjust when the tournament comes around, you know?
Yeah.
And like
that's more just to point out, like, maybe lean out a little more rather than is my point, right?
All right, everyone, don't shoot the camera lens.
Please.
Witness me.
Yes, thank you. Public service announcement.
Yeah.
I guess Tingus spotted Sharkaboy all the way across second. He got that shot.
And now the great bait of our time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to turn around, and as soon as I hear the hit sound, I'm going to down you.
I'm gonna get him.
I profess to doing that because I know I can turn fast enough.
He turned before the first hit.
Yeah. Like, he had to have seen you out of the corner of the eye, or that was absolutely his plan. Which, either way, very good play, right?
Brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Very smart, very, very heads up to try that, for sure.
You feed a couple points, but you get a special point.
Yeah.
And it's off of Mischief, so it feels good.
Yeah. Absolutely. But not for me.
Not so good for Mischief. Pretty good for Sharka.
Look at us in the corner.
It's just like, they're all there.
Yeah.
And we're I think
Meme also made a trail, and so that's why she stopped. And she was like, "Uh-oh." And
nice.
now the panic. Please let me nuke at the last second.
I like the smushing yourself against the wall there, Bagel.
It's as good as it
Set me
gets.
free. And initially, I thought Bagel canceled the nuke because the gun came up at him, and I was like, "No."
It crossed my mind. My impulse control, you have to understand. Bananas.
Bananas. You won that battle.
With myself.
Yeah. So.
Final thoughts about this game?
GG.
Yeah, well done. I'm excited for this next week.
Just to make myself look awesome.
Yeah, just to pat yourself on the back a little more.
I did a good, okay.
Yeah,
Once in a while, I did a good.
Yeah.
Yeah, very excited for Sergeant Tucker, Judoku, and Azra to go out to St. George. We'll be cheering for all of you.
Yeah, I won't be able to record this next one with you all because I'll have the GoPro.
You won't be here this Wednesday or next Wednesday?
Next Wednesday. So I won't be able to do the members recap.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But we'll close it out there. So thank you, everyone.